You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome back everyone to the next Smash Ultimate in-depth analysis. I've been getting a lot of requests for Kirby since I started this series, and now there is finally enough footage for me to deliver. Quick reminder that all damages are given and compared as base damages with multipliers removed, and any uncovered moves are more or less unchanged from Smash 4. Alright, let's get into the aesthetics, which shouldn't take us long. Kirby isn't exactly the most complex character in terms of design, so on the face of it he may seem basically the same as he ever was, but since Kirby was created by Sakurai himself, the dev team made sure to tweak a few things to make him as true to the series as possible. Looking at his alternate skins, things are almost identical to Smash 4. We have colors representing Beam Kirby, or Kirby from Kirby Dream Course, Ice Kirby, Fire Kirby, a much lighter green for Plasma Kirby, the original US Game Boy black and white design, orange, which I feel represents the Scarfy enemy, and of course his purple, maskless Meta Knight design. Nothing too crazy or new, but still pretty faithful to the series. He also has a new taunt. Instead of doing the full Kirby dance, he now simply does the fist pump at the end. Is it a fist pump? Does Kirby even have fists? Anyway, let's not forget that since taunts are quicker and cancelable in Ultimate, Kirby will have to commit much less in order to relinquish the copy ability he currently has, making it much safer to do so, especially in doubles where frequent swapping of powers is more common. Kirby now also does a very similar gesture when he gets a copy ability. This is actually reminiscent of when you get copy abilities in his main series games as well. Other things like his dash animation were also changed to better mirror his games. In this case it more resembles his run from Kirby's Return to Dreamland. His down B, as I'm sure you've seen by now has a chance to turn into a chest from Breath of the Wild, which is a neat touch. And finally, Kirby has an all-new victory animation. Now, at least in 1v1 matches, Kirby will split into 3 copies of himself when he does the famous Kirby dance, just like he's done since the beginning whenever you clear the stage. Now all these little visual touches are nice and all, but has Kirby had his moveset tweaked in any way? Well, let's take a look and see. I'm sure the last thing you want to hear from me is that we are starting with a nerf, but unfortunately, that is the case.
What?
Rapid Jab's damage has taken quite the hit. What used to do 1% per punch has been nerfed all the way to a fifth of that. It's not all bad news though, as the finisher has been buffed a bit to compensate, now doing 3% instead of 2, and coming out a few frames faster to help boost its consistency and make sure no one slips out before landing the final blow. Still, that damage nerf is going to take your average full jab damage down from around 11 or 12% in Smash 4 to a little over 8% in Ultimate. As for Kirby's tilts, you may be surprised to find out they are all pretty much unchanged in terms of frame data and damage. His up tilt especially has been the subject of many rumors, with a lot of people saying it has more end lag. Fortunately, this simply isn't the case. It still comes out frame 4 and still has the same FAF of 21 frames. It does seem to combo into other moves better now, as opposed to just comboing into itself a whole lot, which is a trend I've noticed with a lot of the fast tilts in Ultimate, maybe to encourage more diverse combo trees. Speaking of rumors, a ton of people are saying Kirby is faster now, but this, along with every character I've ever tested dash speed on, turned out to be untrue. Kirby still runs the same speed he always did in Smash 4. As far as his airspeed being changed, that is much more difficult to test, but honestly, safe money is on no. His smashes have also gotten a few tweaks. His F smash, unfortunately, has been nerfed. Don't worry, it's nothing too serious. It still has the same frame data and is still very powerful, but the upwards angled version of this move has had its damage nerfed from 16% down to 15%. This puts it in line with the neutral version of the move, which makes me wonder why anyone would angle it in the first place outside of some very specific spacing scenarios. Speaking of angles, down smash now launches at a much steeper one. What used to launch at an angle of 69 degrees has been planed down to about 30 degrees, making it slightly less consistent as a kill option, but potentially much more devastating with the right positioning or matchup. I've heard talks of this move getting a range buff due to how Kirby seems to stretch out now, but honestly those sorts of things are so difficult to prove without hard-coded hitbox data, and comparing it to Smash 4 doesn't yield definite proof of any changes. His up smash though has gotten a lot of love. First, its frame data has been improved, with 2 frames faster startup at frame 12, and 2 frames of end lag shaved off as well. Second, it has had the damage of its late hit buff from 11 or 12 up to 13%. Of course we have to cover Kirby's new dash attack. Well, sort of new. This move forgoes the top leg spin of Brawl in Smash 4 with an upgraded version of his melee dash attack, based on the burning ability seen in Kirby Superstar. This dash attack is a huge improvement over his Smash 4 one, coming out 3 frames faster at frame 9, dealing a higher 10% damage on the initial hitbox, with an extremely long-lasting 4% late hitbox, all while only having 2 more frames of lag total. This move has some pretty impressive knockback, and it seems to kill even at reasonable percents. Unlike the Smash 4 dash attack, Kirby also seems to maintain his speed throughout the whole move, making it much better for catching landings. It's even been used as a combo move out of down tilt, so overall, very good. Now Kirby, like almost everyone else in Ultimate, has had its grab nerfed, but it's not really as bad as it sounds. Kirby's grab now has an FAF of 34, and while that is a pretty big 6-frame nerf from Smash 4, it still holds the record for fastest grab in Ultimate that I've analyzed. His dash grab was hit on both sides though, with the startup being nerfed by 1 frame up to 9, and the end lag being nerfed just 3 frames for an FAF of 42. But you don't play a character with 6 jumps just to use grabs and tilts the whole game, so let's get into his aerials. Okay, now before we get into the lightning round, there are a couple other little changes that were made to Kirby's aerials. The first of which is to his fair. The last hit of fair actually comes out 2 frames faster than it did before, meaning there is less of a gap between the hits and the move is more consistent overall. The second is to his down air, which I'm glad to say has been buffed. It was already great in Smash 4, but now it does more damage on the multi-hits, going from 1% to 1.3. What this gets you is a net gain of 1.5% on a full down air. Which yeah, isn't much, but it could make the difference when it comes to landing those landing dare kill confirms. Speaking of landing aerials, I think you know what time it is.
Ready, go!
Nair's lag has been buffed from an already great 10 frames down to an absurd 6. Kirby players are reporting landing soft Nair confirms, and with this little amount of lag I can definitely see that being true, not to mention it being a safe pressure tool now. Speaking of safe pressure, Bair has been buffed from 17 frames down to 10. Kirby's Bair is one of the more powerful and fast in the game, and with this it should now be safe on shield as well as open up soft Bair landing confirms at lower percents. Fair has been buffed from 13 frames down to 8. Landing fair already led into a regrab in Smash 4, and now this buff opens up even more setups and potential for string continuation than before. Up air has had its lag cut in half, going from 12 frames all the way down to 6. While I wouldn't recommend going around up airing everywhere, this buff should ensure that landing up air no longer marks the end of your combo. Finally, Kirby's Dare has been buffed just 1 frame. If you played Smash 4, then you know just how important landing Dare was. And while moves with landing hitboxes don't seem to have been buffed quite as much as the others, I can assure you Dare still leads into a plethora of combos and kill confirms.
Complete!
We aren't quite done yet, there's still a few changes to go over with his special moves. Now I know I made you wait through that whole fancy transition, but honestly, only one of Kirby's special moves is known to have been changed. I've heard people say that his up B has a better rising hitbox and that it stays out longer, but every instance of that move hitting that I've analyzed hit its mark on frame 23 or 24 like it always has. His inhale though has had more tangible improvements. For one, it has about 4 frames less end lag than before, which is always nice. But the big change is now not only can you more quickly swallow certain projectiles and items to heal, in Smash 4 this took forever and left Kirby very vulnerable, but now you can actually spit the projectile right back as a star, very reminiscent of his games. Even things like Cloud's Limit Blade Beam can be absorbed. The ejected star seems to do the same damage as the projectile that was swallowed, but man does it have a lot more knockback, and while this is a fun new mechanic, it's pretty gimmicky and situational. Aside from a few specific matchups, it will most likely be relegated to janky double strategies. And, well, that's it. Yeah, Kirby wasn't changed that much in the demo. It seems Sakurai has his baby in a place that he wants. Regardless, thank you everyone for taking the time to watch this video. It means a lot. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, share it to spread the word of the changes in Ultimate, or if you are really generous, leave a pledge on our Patreon. Just $1 will grant you access to the community Discord, and the rewards just keep getting better from there. Social media and music used are in the description below, and don't forget to leave a request for your favorite fighter in the demo to be covered next with the hashtag #PleaseAnalyze. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.